No, that's far too far away. What is that? Ugh. Yeah, this t-shirt is a bit big, isn't it? But I really, really like it. And I only bought it last year when we went to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. Love a horror movie. I love a scare maze. Don't worry, there'll be none of that on this channel. But over on my other channel, there is plenty of Halloween stuff in the coming months. But yeah, I just really like this t-shirt. And it is comfy, and it's a comfy day. It's also the start of this year's Halloween Horror Nights event. Last night, I've been seeing loads of stuff on my social media. I'm really jealous. I really wish we were going. And if that is not a rambly start to the video about Mounjaro and weight loss that nobody else would be expecting, welcome. Okay, so today is Saturday the 30th of August. And it is now the very start of week 62 since I first started using Mounjaro to support me with my weight loss, getting fitter, getting healthier. Now, if you are a returning viewer, you will know that I have passed more than 130 pounds lost over that 62 weeks. And later in this video, I'll give you my latest weigh-in, so stick around for that. But this video is just going to be a sit down, chit chat catch up on the last week. Primarily focus on how it's been for me in the past week, as I have started to titrate down the doses as I am looking to come off Mounjaro in the future. So I'll tell you how that's been this week, as well as what I've been up to, my exercise, how I've been feeling. And also it's been a week of a lot of Mounjaro and Lilly news. So I'm not going to go through all of the news, but I'll just give you my initial thoughts and things that I'm hearing, some of which I just think, yeah, we'll get into it. But first of all, this week I have passed well that's 4, so hang on, 2,000 subscribers on this channel. And that's really exciting. So if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. I think there's going to be a lot of figuring stuff out. But yeah, 2,000 subscribers. It was only 4 months ago, but I passed 1,000 subscribers. So that's quite exciting. And for the first time, I thought I would do a little give back giveaway to people who watch my videos. And I've been trying to think about what would be a useful product to share with other people who are either using Mounjaro or another GLP-1 medication, or are just wanting to better manage their health, fitness and everything else. So I've got 2 ideas, and whoever is a winner, I'll let them pick which one of these they would benefit from, appreciating that some people might already have one or not want it. So the options will be either a Mounjaro travel case, which I have used a lot in the last year because you know I love my holidays, so I'm going to get exactly the same one for somebody. So if you are using Mounjaro or possibly Wegovy and you think that would be a useful product, I'll send one of those to you for free. Alternatively, the other option I thought was the Renpho scales, and again the LS1 scales are the scales that I use, and I wish I'd got them sooner, because they are so useful in all of the body metrics that these scales give you, and I think they're a great product. Now I know some people might already have that, so I thought give people an option, one or the other. There's no cash alternative, but to enter, really simple. All you need to do is leave a comment on this video, and from when it goes live, I'll let it run for 2 weeks. Again, two, not 4, 2 weeks. And then I will pick, and then I'll use a random draw generator to pick someone at random. None of this is an affiliate, none of this is being sponsored. These are just products that I genuinely have and use, and it's just a little way that I can give back and say thank you for all of the support from everyone who watches my videos. So check out the description for this video for all of the information and T's and C's, etc. And don't forget to comment. Okay, so what about all this Mounjaro news this week? And there's been quite a lot. Obviously, last week was the very short notice of the intended price increases, and there have been a lot of suppliers who have been giving information about what their prices will be from the 1st of September, which is now only a day away. Now, the prices I've seen have not been quite as high as that 170% that was being banded around. However, 15 milligram pens are now looking at around the £300 mark, I think, on average. That's what I've seen. The lower doses are not being increased quite as much, but the prices are going up overall. And I know that for many, many people, having to manage the cost that it was in your monthly income was hard enough, and maybe this is just too much. I've talked a lot about that already. I'm not going to rehash all of that. I've also had the emails from MedExpress, from Zava, all saying like, oh, we've currently run out of these pens. We haven't got any of the higher doses. And I know that people have been having to try really hard to find the doses that they want and trying to get them before that 1st of September price increase. As I've said, I am not buying any more pens. I haven't bought any pens for the last month, and I am now using up the pens that I have, microdosing, split dosing, and tapering down. So all of that last week stress that I know people have been trying to figure out hasn't directly affected me, but I am very aware of it. And then, as if it couldn't get any worse, we then had 2 more bits of news or news or rumours maybe. First of all, confirmed that Eli Lilly have said they are not providing any more pens to the UK until after the 1st of September because of all this surge buying. So basically, they are cutting off the supply until the 1st of September when everyone will be paying those higher prices. Honestly, what the heck? I'm kind of making light of it just because it's so gobsmacking, to be honest. But yeah, shysters. And then there's even more because not only have they stopped that supply, but there's also been a lot of information circulating that I've read on Reddit, and I know that I'm saying like, oh, I read this on Reddit. It may not come to be true, but there seems to be a growing picture that Lilly are now trying to change the pens in some way to decrease that amount of priming fluid they give you to eliminate that golden dose. So the prices have gone up, and they now want you to buy more pens more regularly because you won't be able to benefit from that 5th dose, that golden dose, which then helps to spread the cost out. So at this point, I really believe that the CEO of Lilly is wanting Villain of the Year. In fact, we're not even in September yet. I'm going to award it. Villain of the Year goes to Lilly. What a bunch of... Can't say that on the internet. So let me update you on how the last week has been, as I have started to titrate down those doses with a plan to coming off Mounjaro. Got my journal, made some notes, so let's get into it. So not strictly Mounjaro related, but it will become more relevant as I go on to explain. In the past week, I have done a lot of exercise. I have done 4 weights or strength conditioning classes. So that's circuits, kettlebells, boxercise. I did another boxercise class on Friday. I did the double again. So as much as last week, I was like, what idiot booked this for himself? The same idiot did it again this week. And I'm really enjoying it actually. But yeah, 4 strength and conditioning classes. Hopefully we'll get the guns coming in soon. I'm not convinced. I think I'm just destined to be like little twiglet arms, but I'm enjoying it either way, and I feel like I'm getting stronger, like functionally stronger as a result. I've also in the past week done 5 spin classes. 5. So 5 of those, 4 strength classes. That means there's been plenty of days in the past week but I have done double classes, and I've had a really good week for it. I've just felt that my energy was really up. I felt very motivated. In all of my strength classes, I have gone up in weights as well. So whether it be kettlebells or dumbbells, whatever's been there, I've been like, I can go up. I've been doing the certain weights for a while. I can push myself to go up to the next ones. And whilst, the day after I have felt a bit sore, I've definitely been walking a bit funny this week at times. I've done it, and I'm feeling really, really proud of myself for doing it. And I'm really enjoying it. So lots of strength and lots of exercise. And because of that, I have really focused in on my food and my calories and my protein this week as well. So the approach that I've taken in the last week, and the approach that I'm going to continue to do in the next few weeks, is I have been tracking my food and drink intake every single day. I've been counting the calories 6 days per week. So 1 day a week. So last week we went to my mother-in-law's for a roast dinner, and I thought, I'm not going to try and guess what this is. I'm still going to track what I've had, but I'm not going to try and guess the calories because I could be well over, well under. You know, people prepare food in different ways, and I thought, what's the point? And actually, for me, having that mental break 1 day where I just think there's no like good or bad judgment being made about it. This is just what I've eaten in that day. It's not a cheat day. I don't go into it that day thinking like, oh, this is my day to eat whatever, because I'm not counting the calories, because count them or not, they'll be showing on here. But it's just been quite nice. I've quite enjoyed having 6 days of tracking and seeing what calories I have been bringing in versus what I've been expending through my exercise and just natural movement. And then having 1 day where I've just recorded what I've eaten, just so I can look back without counting the calories for that day. And my calorie range is flexible depending on what exercise I'm doing that day. So one day is like when I'm doing spin classes. I know that still a spin class for me can burn 500 or more calories. So on those days, my calories that I plan to have throughout the day are slightly higher versus the days where I'm not doing cardio and I've just done a circuits class, for example, and so my calories burned over the day are slightly less, that I try to take in slightly less. On those lower days, I'm aiming in between 1600 and 1800, and on the higher days, I'm aiming for around 2000 to 2200, and I've got all the data. I've been tracking it nicely to see, aiming for around 1000 calories a day deficit from what I am burning in total to what I'm taking in, which should give me a nice £2 loss on a week. And I genuinely feel like tracking what I'm eating and just really refocusing on that right now at this point in my journey is really helpful, because I am intentionally putting less Mounjaro into my body. I will be feeling less benefits from it, and this should be something that I can maintain long into the future. It has been a funny few weeks though, because on the one hand, I still want to lose that last few pounds. I still want to get to that 180, which was the goal weight I had set for myself. And I know when I have been around that before is when I felt my kind of fittest and my most comfortable. I'm very close to it. And don't get me wrong, I feel really good, achy, but good right now. So I do want to lose those pounds, but I want to be maintaining my muscle mass, my lean muscle mass, and building muscle where I can. So trying to like get my calories right and also my protein right has been a real juggling this last week or two. So actually I do think tracking it and just having like a protein goal and a calorie goal has meant that there's been days where I've been like, oh, what can I actually have that's going to like give me that little bit of extra protein boost without pushing my calories up massively and without relying on too many protein shakes or bars or that kind of synthetic stuff. I'm not against that. I do have those. I use those as part of my kind of healthy, varied diet. But yeah, I don't want to be just surviving the whole time on those. I don't think that's sustainable long term. And actually, as much as some of the shakes are quite nice, a couple of boiled eggs are a lot cheaper and they're also just as tasty. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm thinking I might do a what I eat in a day video some point soon to kind of show at this phase what I am kind of trying to eat and go into a bit more depth around that. So let me know if that would be useful or interesting. Otherwise, I won't bother. So what this has all meant for me this week, when I have been on a lesser dose of Mounjaro and I've upped my exercise quite a lot and I've upped the intensity quite a lot and I've been tracking and really locking in on my food and my calories, I have felt quite hungry this week. And I don't think that is a Mounjaro related thing. I think it's just naturally my body is saying, wow, we've burnt off a lot this week and I need that fuel, genuinely fuel, to fuel my body. Now I haven't felt out of control at any point. I've not found myself even considering ordering like a midweek takeaway. I've not been doing massive runs to the shop to go and buy all the crap that I used to buy. And I have been able to record what I'm eating, coming in a calorie deficit and be fine with it. But I have noticed several times my belly being like, hello, we're down here. So I'm well aware that some people might be thinking, oh, that's not a great sign if it's only very, very start and I've still got quite a high dose of Mounjaro that I'm on if I'm feeling hungry. But I am okay with it. I am keeping an eye on it. I am recording it. I'm being aware of it. But I am okay with it. What hasn't returned is that food noise. So it's like a very physical hunger sign, and a hunger cue to me is very different to that brain noise and that kind of hormonal noise and that thinking of food. Because it hasn't been coming from here this week. And I feel like I can really distinguish that now. Like, I think in the past, I would have said, oh, I'm always hungry. I always need to eat. And now, at this point, I can really differentiate between like what I feel in my stomach as opposed to what I would feel in my head, which is a really helpful insight to have, because that means that I can start to recognize when it does start coming from here and then be like, what's going on? So that's kind of how the week has felt for me. I've wanted to mention that because I do think it is relevant and useful information, but it's not food noise returning, just that I've been quite hungry this week. So if you have got any questions at all about about how I'm managing all of these things together, about how I'm feeling, anything that I'm not covering in this video that you want to know about, as a reminder, I am planning to do a question and answer video very soon. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about where I'm currently at, my plans, long-term plans, if I know them, all my experience over the last year and a bit of being on Mounjaro. So questions for me, do please send them across, but also do send any questions across that you might have for my husband, Dave, because Dave has not been on Mounjaro. He doesn't have weight struggles himself. He doesn't enjoy exercise like I now do, but he has been by my side this whole way through. And I reckon you lot will have some very good, insightful questions for Dave about what it's like as a partner to somebody who's been on a GLP-1 medication. So if you have got any questions, the options are A, comment on this video, ask questions there and I'll make a note of them. B, I have put a community post up on my YouTube channel, which includes a link to NGL, so that stands for not gonna lie, I think, if that's what the kids say, because there is when you can send in anonymous questions. So if you've got a question that you want to ask, either myself or Dave, but you don't want to say it's coming from you, for whatever the reason might be, you can do it anonymously on there. And yeah, please don't be rude or inappropriate. Or the third option is to drop me an email. My email address is this. And I have had a few emails from people in the last few weeks, and I do really enjoy getting those. So again, if you want to be a bit more private than putting something on my comments, then feel free to drop me an email and give me your questions there. So 3 ways of doing it. You've probably got like another week or so to get your questions in, and then we'll sit down and we'll be filming that video. So time for the weighing results. I have weighed in this morning. Just as a reminder, this time last week I weighed 13 stone and 11 pounds. And this week I weighed in at 13 stone and 11 pounds. So yeah. So that brings my weekly total to 0 pounds, and it brings my total since starting Mounjaro at the end of June to 133 pounds. And it would be very easy, and definitely in the past I think I would have been like, oh my god, this is not what should be happening, especially with all of that exercise, and especially with like being really focused on my calories. Like, everything's science says I should have lost weight this week, and I deserved to have lost weight this week, and I haven't. I haven't lost anything at all, not even like a point something. I'm also anticipating that some of you very kind-hearted people will be kind of rushing to say, oh, but Rob, it could be putting on muscle. You could be burning fat but putting on muscle. You've done lots of exercise. Apparently not. Not according to my scales, at least. The Renfo scales do give a whole load of data, including your body fat percentage, including your lean muscle mass. Everything is literally exactly the same. There's been no changes whatsoever. And so of course, when I stood on the scales this morning and I saw that nothing had changed, the instant feeling I had was, oh, that doesn't feel very fair. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, I really felt like I would have had a good couple of pounds lost this week, and I feel physically in my body like I'm continuing to trim down. But it's just not showing up on the scales this week. There have been quite a few things in the past week that have been like variable factors. I've increased my exercise, I have come down on the Mounjaro dose. So again, I'm not panicking. I'm not thinking, oh, I have to stay on Mounjaro for life because in my first week I have had no pounds lost on the scales. If I'm still here in 3-4 weeks time giving the same information that I am training really hard, I'm training really well, my diet's really good, I'm making positive choices, and the scales are still not moving, then I'll be calling it a stall or a plateau. Right now it's 1 week and I'm not going to change anything. I am going to carry on as I have been doing. I'm going to carry on using this to record everything, and I'm going to continue being accountable to myself. You know, I'm not even sneaking in. There's not even any extra food this week, but I've like snuck in but not recorded. I have been fully honest and transparent with myself. I have been fully honest and transparent with you. Hopefully next week I'll be back with a good loss and reassuring any of you that are at or considering coming off or tapering off Mounjaro yourself, either now or in the future. If I don't lose anything next week, I'm just going to chop an arm off. But that's all from me this week. So just as a few reminders, first of all, that again, what? This is because I'm a millennial. This is because this is my go-to pose in every photo. 2,000, not 4,000 yet. If you're not subscribed, let's get to 4,000. But 2,000 subscriber giveaway, give back from me. If you want to enter, please make sure you leave comments. If you don't want to enter, still leave your comments and then just tell me if you get drawn at the point, oh, I don't want it, thanks, and I'll draw somebody else. That's also okay. Don't be put off commenting if you're like, I don't want Rob having my address for any reason. Like, you know, that's fine. Also, the upcoming question and answer session with myself and my husband Dave. So questions, so send your questions in to us. And that's all from me for this week. So I hope you're having a very good week yourself, whatever you might be doing, wherever you might be. And I will catch you again very, very soon. Okay, bye.